Do you ever wish that somebody could install a brain chip or give you a magic pill that'll suddenly make you super motivated and productive? What if I told you that your brain is actually naturally super motivated and productive, and that certain habits that you have may be hindering your brain from being the powerhouse that it's supposed to be? In today's video, I'm going to list 7 worst habits for your brain. These 7 habits make your brain slow, foggy, and inefficient. By stopping these habits, your brain will become the productive powerhouse that nature designed it to be. Hey there, strivers, and welcome back to the I Am Striver channel. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn on notifications so that you're notified every time we come out with a brand new video each week. I'm Dr. Jumana, and I'm an expert in embodied self-control. On this channel, I share non-traditional and sometimes weird strategies based on my proprietary model of self-control on how to be more motivated, more disciplined, and live a much happier life. Now let's dive into the list of the 7 worst habits for your brain. Make sure you watch until the end because number 7 is the most common habit that I see, and it will shock you. You'll never be able to guess what it is. The first worst habit for your brain is smoking. Now you might be thinking, no duh, but this habit is actually a mixed bag when it comes to how it affects your brain. On the one hand, nicotine intake actually has some short-term benefits, such as focused and sustained attention, recognition memory, and reasoning. On the other hand, smoking has some long-term consequences for the brain. It has been associated with cognitive impairments and cognitive decline in middle age. Smoking also has some short-term negative consequences for the brain, such as impaired working memory. Also, smoking affects your breathing capacity, and breathing is vitally important for your mental well-being. I discuss the positive mental and emotional effects of proper breathing in these videos. So, while smoking might have some benefits in the short term, it is actually horrible for your brain and can cause some serious cognitive decline in midlife. The second worst habit for your brain is binge eating. Binge eating is the most common eating disorder. It is characterized by excessive and uncontrollable food intake. One study shows that people who binge eat have several cognitive biases and issues. Binge eaters are generally very impulsive and compulsive, being unable to regulate their own behavior. They have a problem with behavioral flexibility, often making the same choice even though that choice is just no longer rewarding for them. Binge eaters also have attention and memory impairments. Basically, people who binge eat become kind of like zombies, just impulsively acting and being unable to control their minds. Now, if you find that your behavior is too impulsive and that you have problems focusing your attention, check to see if your eating behaviors reflect that of a binge eater. Perhaps just eating less and being mindful of the way in which you eat is the solution to get your brain to work the way you want it to work. The third worst habit for your brain is eating junk food and specifically consuming too much sugar. Junk food generally refers to food that is high in saturated fat and high in sugar. Kids who eat junk food become highly predisposed to impulsive behavior and start to lose control of their own behavior. These kinds of diets create problems with various forms of memory, spatial learning performance, and learning in general. Now notice that these effects are the same as the symptoms of ADHD. Junk food also decreases neural plasticity, which is the ability for the brain to adapt itself. Now, sugary drinks in particular have some pretty horrendous effects on the brain. They increase oxidative stress, reduce sleep quality, impair memory and motor coordination, and they have been linked with ADHD. Consumption of sugary drinks by pregnant women leads to cognitive impairments and obesity in their children. Sugary drinks have even been linked with dementia and stroke. No matter which way you slice it, processed sugar is just plain bad for your brain. If you find yourself struggling to concentrate or pay attention, if you have impaired memory, if you don't sleep well, if you have chronic stress, if you feel fatigued all the time, and if you experience a very heavy brain fog, start measuring your daily sugar intake. With how much sugar is being snuck into our food these days, it is highly likely that this is the culprit for all your brain woes. What is your daily diet like? Do you suspect that you consume way too much sugar and too much fat than you actually should? Let me know in the comment section down below by typing, "I need a food makeover," so I know if I should make a guide on how to eat for optimal brain performance. The fourth worst habit for your brain is having a sedentary lifestyle. Not moving or not exercising enough could leave a person at a very high risk of developing dementia later in life. But it can also cause some very serious cognitive declines at a much younger age. Exercise improves the brain function of people that live sedentary lifestyles. In fact, movement has been found to be a top predictor of academic achievement in young kids. If you want your brain to be in prime shape, physical exercise is one of the best ways to achieve top brain health. The buns of steel are just an added bonus. The fifth worst habit for your brain is allowing yourself to become dehydrated. A study that looked into the mental effects of dehydration amongst male college students found that dehydration causes not only a decline in cognitive performance, but also in overall mood. Specifically, the study found that dehydration had negative effects on vigor, aka energy levels, on esteem-related emotions, on short-term memory, and attention. Rehydration relieved fatigue, improved mood, and increased short-term memory, attention, and reaction rates. About 75% of all Americans are chronically dehydrated, and this number does not drastically change for other countries either. Something as simple as making sure you get enough water each day can dramatically change the way your brain works. Interestingly, dehydration also affects how willing we are to cooperate with others. The more hydrated we are, the more likely we are to cooperate with other people. This really cool fact is the perfect segue into my next point, which is that the sixth worst habit for your brain is not socializing. We human beings are social creatures, and many parts of our brain are dedicated to socializing. It is vital for our brain health and our mental health to exercise our social muscles. One study found that as little as 10 minutes of social interaction can boost cognitive performance. This study is especially relevant these days, as many of us are still recovering from the devastating mental effects of social distancing during the COVID pandemic. Social distancing has left many people used to spending their day without reaching out for social interaction, and this is horrible for the brain. Next time you feel brain fog, reach out to a friend and spend 10 minutes having a conversation with them. You'll not only feel emotionally better, but your brain performance will also be enhanced. The seventh worst habit for your brain is mouth breathing. Believe it or not, but mouth breathing has detrimental effects both physically and mentally. Mouth breathing physically warps the face in a way that negatively impacts the regulation of proper breathing. These physical irregularities aren't only unattractive, but they also cause a host of mental deficits. The chronic improper breathing caused by these physical deformities negatively affects sleep quality, ability to focus, and general academic performance. In fact, many people that suffer from these effects are misdiagnosed as ADD and ADHD. If you self-diagnosed yourself with ADD or ADHD, before you run off to get some medication, first check to see whether or not you're a mouth breather. Fixing this one habit can physically change the shape of your face to be more symmetrical and in turn erase the cognitive impairments caused by mouth breathing. You'll be more attractive and your brain will work much more efficiently. You can't get a better deal than that. Well, there you have it, strivers, the 7 worst habits for your brain. If you have any of these 7 habits and you're always complaining that your brain just isn't working the right way, now you have a better idea of why. Stopping these habits sooner rather than later will allow your brain to regain its natural power. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, please give this video a like. If you know anyone that complains about having a broken brain, share this video with them so that they could learn how to fix it. I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, strivers, keep on striving. Ciao, guys.